Okay, for our next tutorial, we're going to go ahead and actually create the on-pin P0 pressed, which shows a cross and it pauses that cross for a second and it changes the number of fails up by 1. And then it shows how many failures you've had or how many times you've hit the wire. It changes the variable to how many times you've hit the wire. All right, and we're also going to show you how to download to your microcontroller. Okay, so let's get back to our student name skill game. We've already got these. We're just going to zoom in a bit, readjust the screen so it's nice and large. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put in an input, which is on pin 0. Let's drag it across, center that up. Okay, then we're going to have basic show LEDs. Now, when P0 here is pressed, we want it to show an X as if we hit the wire. Okay, so next after that, we're going to pause it. We want to pause that for 1 second. So if you go back, we've got pause, and we want to add a variable. Okay, so I'm going to go back and pause it for 1 second. Change that to 1000 milliseconds, which is a second. And then we're going to go back to our variables menu, and we're going to change variables. So change the fails by 1. Okay, go back to change fails by 1, and then we're going to show the number, which is the variable fails. So it should count up by 1 each time we activate pin 0. So we go back to choose fails. I'm going to go show number, and we're going to add the variable, which is fails. Okay, if we go back, that should be it. We can give it a test. If we go ahead and test, and if we activate pin 0 on our student name skill game, and you hit pin 0, it should come up with an X for 1 second, and it adds 1. If we hit it again, it should come up with an X and change to 2. Fantastic. All right, there we go. Now if we hit button A, it should show the original thing and set our fails back to 0. So that seems to be working okay. So that code's fine. It automatically saves, but what we want to do now that we've tested it in the coding environment, we want to actually download it to our microcontroller, microbit. So once we've plugged in our microbit, it actually comes up just as into File Explorer. If we go to the top of the screen, actually drag it across half the screen, we can then click back into our coding environment. We can go ahead and download our game. So we'll go ahead and hit download. In the browser, it should come up. As you can see, it says microbit student number byte text. And all we have to do is click on that file and drag it across to our microbit. Now, on the microbit, it'll actually physically flash and it'll copy across to the microbit. Sometimes take a while, and that's done. All right, so now you can actually go ahead. Now it's copied across to the microcontroller. You can go ahead and give it a test. It should have, when you press button A, it should come up with a graphic you decide, number 0, and then when you hit press button P0, and the pin 0, should come up with an X, add a 1, and keep adding as many times as you hit the wire on the skill test. All right, go ahead and give that a shot, and come back and modify code as needed.